This is Nathaniel, and Nathaniel has a problem. The Mexican cartel is trying to kill him, and he doesn't know why. But here's the twisted thing. The cartel threat isn't real. It's all an elaborate lie created by his own fiancée to get him to commit murder. So here's how this nightmare actually started and why 4 innocent people, including 2 young children, ended up dead in what became one of Illinois' most shocking family massacres. One day, Nathaniel's at work. He works security for WeatherTech, this big automotive engineering company in Bolingbrook, Illinois. And he meets this woman who we'll call Zoraida. Nathaniel thinks Zoraida is fine as hell, so they start flirting, and soon they start hooking up outside of work, secretly meeting at hotels to smash. Here's the thing about Nathaniel, though. Bro already has a woman. His fiancée is this woman, Ermelinda Palomo, and Nathaniel and Ermelinda have been together for years. They're engaged, living together in Streamwood, Illinois, planning a life together. But Nathaniel's got a wandering eye and apparently 0 loyalty. And here's the thing about Zoraida. She's not some single woman looking for fun. She's married to Alberto Rolón. They've got 2 beautiful little boys together, 9-year-old Adriel and 7-year-old Diego, and they're living their life in this quiet suburban neighborhood in Romeoville, trying to build something good for their family. But Nathaniel doesn't give a damn about any of that. He's thinking with the wrong head, meeting up with this married woman, having secret hotel rendezvous, completely betraying both his fiancée and this woman's husband and children. Now, I don't know exactly how Ermelinda finds out, but eventually she discovers that Nathaniel's been cheating on her with this woman at work. Maybe she saw texts on his phone, maybe someone told her, maybe she just got suspicious of his behavior. But however it happened, she finds out about the affair and she is absolutely pissed. But here's where this story takes a turn that nobody could have predicted. Most people would either dump the cheating bastard or confront the other woman or try couples therapy or something normal like that. But Ermelinda Palomo is not most people. Instead of doing anything reasonable, Ermelinda comes up with one of the most diabolical, manipulative, and downright evil plans I've ever heard of to get rid of Zoraida for good. So first, Ermelinda gets online and she starts creating fake social media profiles. We're talking Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, phone numbers, the whole digital persona package. And she uses these fake profiles to start secretly messaging Nathaniel, pretending to be members of dangerous criminal organizations. Under these fake aliases, she starts telling him that he's being targeted by the Mexican cartel. Not just any cartel. She creates this whole elaborate story about how he's somehow gotten mixed up with these dangerous drug runners and they're coming for him. And these fake cartel members seem to know everything about him. They know his name. They know where he lives. They know where he works. They know personal details about his life that make the whole thing seem terrifyingly real. So Nathaniel gets these messages and he's like, what the actual fuck is happening to my life? He has no idea how he supposedly got mixed up in some real cartel business, but when you're getting death threats from people who know where you sleep at night, you tend to take that pretty seriously. And he starts getting anxious as hell, constantly looking over his shoulder, wondering when these cartel members are going to show up and end his life. Of course, he has absolutely no idea that it's really Ermelinda behind this whole thing. His own fiancée, the woman who's supposed to love and support him, is sitting right next to him at home while secretly terrorizing him online, pretending to be dangerous criminals who want him dead. The level of psychological manipulation here is just insane. But here's the really twisted part. Despite the fact that he's supposedly terrified that the cartel is after him, Nathaniel keeps secretly smashing with Zoraida on the side. So Ermelinda's weird plan to scare him away from his affair partner isn't actually working because he's still cheating. The fake cartel threats aren't enough to keep him faithful. After nearly a year of sending fake cartel threats and watching Nathaniel continue his affair anyway, Ermelinda realizes she needs to try something different. The fear tactics alone aren't working, so she needs to escalate this psychological warfare to the next level. So using one of her fake online personas, this time she's calling herself Turtle, Ermelinda contacts Nathaniel with an even more sinister message. She tells him that not only are these cartels after him, but that Zoraida, his affair partner, is actually a spy working for the cartel. According to Fake Turtle, Zoraida has been playing him this whole time, gathering information about him for the cartel, and now she's planning to kill him. Think about how diabolical this is. Ermelinda has turned the woman her fiancé is cheating with into the ultimate enemy. She's not just some mistress anymore. According to this elaborate lie, Zoraida is a dangerous cartel operative who's been manipulating Nathaniel and is now planning his murder. And then Fake Turtle delivers the final piece of this sick puzzle. She tells Nathaniel that the only way to keep Zoraida from killing him is to kill her first. It's him or her, according to this fake cartel member. If he doesn't act soon, Zoraida is going to eliminate him. Now, at this point, you'd hope that Nathaniel would step back and think, wait a minute, this is insane. Maybe I should go to the police or talk to someone about these threats instead of planning a murder. But Nathaniel apparently isn't that smart, or maybe the months of psychological manipulation have really messed with his head, because he hears this plan and he's like, all right, I guess I have to kill her before she kills me. So Nathaniel and his new online friend Fake Turtle start planning out this murder in detail. They research the layout of Zoraida's house because their plan is to break into her house, kill her, and make it all look like a robbery gone wrong. They're talking about entry points, escape routes, what to steal to make it look convincing. This is some serious premeditation happening here. And remember, the whole time, Nathaniel is planning this murder with Fake Turtle. He has no idea that Fake Turtle is actually his own fiancée, Ermelinda. She's literally helping him plan the murder of the woman he's been cheating with, while pretending to be a cartel member online. The level of manipulation and deception here is just mind-blowing. But then, here's where it gets even more confusing and twisted. After a couple of days of planning out this murder online, Nathaniel goes to Ermelinda in person and tells her everything. He explains that he's somehow gotten mixed up with the cartel, that they're after him, that this woman Zoraida for work is apparently a spy who's planning to kill him, and that he has to kill her first to save his own life. And Ermelinda, knowing damn well that she's secretly Fake Turtle and that she fabricated this whole cartel story to manipulate him to commit murder, acts completely shocked. She's like, oh my god, what the fuck? This is terrible. I can't believe this is happening to you. Playing the concerned, supportive fiancé while secretly being the puppet master behind this whole nightmare scenario. Not only does she act shocked, but she tells Nathaniel that she'll help him carry out this murder. So now Ermelinda has successfully manipulated her cheating fiancé into planning to kill his mistress, and she's volunteered to be his accomplice in the crime. This woman has basically engineered the perfect revenge plot. She's going to eliminate her romantic rival and probably get rid of her cheating fiancé in the process, since there's no way he's not going to prison for this. So around 3 a.m. on the morning of September 16th, 2023, Nathaniel gets his gun and he and Ermelinda get into their car. She drives him over to the Rolone family home in Romeoville, this quiet suburban neighborhood where families are supposed to be safe, where kids ride bikes and people walk their dogs, and nobody expects a psychopath to show up in the middle of the night with murder on his mind.
They get there, and Ermelinda parks the car and waits while Nathaniel walks up to the house. The plan is simple: get in, kill Zoraida, steal some stuff to make it look like a robbery, and get out. But what Nathaniel doesn't know is that he's not just walking into Zoraida's house, he's walking into a family home where her husband Alberto and their 2 young sons are sleeping, completely unaware that their world is about to be destroyed. Nathaniel enters through an unlocked back door, and I guess he must have made some noise while doing this, because pretty quickly Alberto wakes up. Remember, Alberto is Zoraida's husband. He's just a regular guy. Probably heard a sound and got up to check on his family, maybe thinking it was just one of the kids getting up for water or something. But instead, he comes face to face with an armed intruder in his home. And suddenly, blam blam, Nathaniel shoots him right there. Alberto Rolone, a father of 2 young boys, is killed in his own home by a man who was sleeping with his wife, a man who thought Alberto's wife was a cartel spy plotting to kill him. The gunshots wake up Zoraida, and she realizes what's happening. In absolute terror, she grabs her 2 sons, little Adriel, who's only 9 years old, and Diego, who's only 7, and she runs into the bedroom and locks the door. Can you imagine the horror of this moment? She probably has no idea why this is happening, why Nathaniel is in her house with a gun, why her husband is dead. She's just trying to protect her babies. But locking the bedroom door doesn't stop Nathaniel. He's not thinking clearly, he's not showing any mercy or humanity. He goes to that bedroom door, raises his gun, and blam blam blam. He fires right through the door more than a dozen times. And this kills them. Zoraida Bartolome, the woman he was having an affair with, the woman he thought was a cartel spy plotting to kill him, dead. 9-year-old Adriel Rolón, a little boy who probably liked video games and soccer and had dreams about what he wanted to be when he grew up, dead. 7-year-old Diego Rolón, who probably still believed in Santa Claus and had his whole life ahead of him, dead. But it doesn't end there. For some sick reason, Nathaniel then takes his gun and kills the family's 3 dogs too. These were family pets, probably beloved companions who brought joy and comfort to this family, and he kills them all. Why? What possible reason could there be for killing the dogs? It's just pure, senseless violence. Then he starts messing up the house, stealing some items to try to make it look like a robbery gone wrong, and then he leaves. He walks back to the car where Ermelinda is waiting, having listened to the gunshots that ended 4 innocent lives, and knowing that her manipulation and lies directly caused this massacre. They drive home, probably thinking they've gotten away with the perfect crime, but they have no idea that they've just committed one of the most horrific family murders in Illinois history, and that law enforcement is about to bring the full weight of justice down on them. The next day, Alberto doesn't show up for work. This is unusual because Alberto was reportedly a reliable employee, the kind of guy who showed up when he was supposed to. When he doesn't come in and doesn't answer his phone, his coworkers start getting concerned and they call the police to do a welfare check. So that evening, police officers arrive at the Rolón family home for what they think is going to be a routine welfare check. Maybe someone's sick, maybe there was a family emergency, maybe the phone lines are down. They're expecting something simple and explainable. But when they start looking through the windows, they see something that immediately tells them this is not a routine call. They see dead dogs inside the house, 3 family pets that have obviously been shot. And any police officer will tell you that when you see dead pets during a welfare check, you're dealing with something much worse than a medical emergency. They call for backup, get permission to enter the home, and that's when they discover the full scope of this horror. Alberto Rolón shot dead in his own home, Zoraida Bartolome and her 2 young sons shot dead in the bedroom where they tried to hide from their killer, a suburban family completely wiped out in what looks like a targeted execution. The crime scene is devastating. These aren't random victims of a robbery gone wrong, this is clearly a planned attack on this specific family. And investigators immediately start working to figure out who could have wanted this family dead and why. The police start investigating, and one of the first things they do is search Zoraida's phone records, and what they find immediately raises red flags. There are tons of messages between her and Nathaniel Huey Jr., messages that make it crystal clear these two were having an affair. So now investigators have their first solid lead. They know Zoraida was having an affair with this guy, Nathaniel, and in cases like this, the husband or the affair partner are always going to be prime suspects. Either Alberto found out about the affair and killed his wife, or Nathaniel killed the family for some reason related to their relationship. But when they dig deeper into Alberto's background and behavior, nothing suggests he's capable of this kind of violence. He was working, he had no history of domestic violence, he wasn't acting strangely before his death. Nothing about him screams family annihilator. So investigators turn their attention to Nathaniel Huey Jr. And when they start looking into his background, they find some concerning things. This guy has a criminal record, including charges related to firearms violations. He's exactly the kind of person who might be capable of this kind of violence. The next day, police show up to WeatherTech where Nathaniel works to question him about his relationship with Zoraida and where he was on the night of the murders. And immediately, Nathaniel starts acting suspicious as hell. When they ask him to hand over his phone so they can examine his communications with Zoraida, he's like, how about I bring you my phone later? How about I come see you guys later today after work or something like that? Because I got other stuff in there that I don't necessarily want you to be looking at. You know what I'm saying? Now, when police are investigating a quadruple murder and they ask for your phone and your response is, I'll give you to you later because there's stuff on there I don't want you to see, that's basically like wearing a sign that says, I'm probably your killer.
Any innocent person would immediately hand over their phone to help catch the monster who killed a family. But Nathaniel tries to play it cool, denying any involvement in the murders while simultaneously acting as guilty as possible. He tells investigators that he had nothing to do with this, that he was just having an affair with Zoraida, that he would never hurt anyone. At the same time police are questioning Nathaniel, they also go to talk to his fiancée Ermelinda. They get her in the police car and start asking her questions about Nathaniel's whereabouts on the night of the murders and whether she knew about his affair with Zoraida. And Ermelinda puts on this absolutely Oscar-worthy performance, playing the shocked and betrayed fiancé who's just finding out that her man has been cheating on her. She acts like she had no idea about the affair, like she's devastated to learn that Nathaniel was unfaithful. You didn't know that he was having an affair? When did you find that out? Right now, like she's just been hit with this devastating news for the first time. She tells police that she was home on the night of the murders, that Nathaniel was with her, that they didn't go anywhere. She's sticking to their alibi story, playing the loyal fiancé who would never suspect her man of something so horrible. But the investigators aren't buying it. They've been doing this for years, and they know when someone is lying to them. There's something about Ermelinda's story that doesn't add up, something about her behavior that feels rehearsed and fake. Are you telling me the truth? Yeah, 100%. You wouldn't be covering for Nate at all? No, he was here. But even as she's giving them this performance, investigators are starting to piece together evidence that suggests both Nathaniel and Ermelinda were involved in planning and carrying out these murders. As the investigation continues over the next few days, both Nathaniel and Ermelinda realize that the police are closing in on them. The evidence is mounting, their alibis aren't holding up, and it's becoming clear that they're going to be arrested and charged with 4 counts of murder. So they make the decision that guilty people often make when they know they're caught. They decide to run. They pack up their stuff, get in their car, and they flee Illinois, driving south toward Oklahoma. Maybe they're thinking they can disappear, start over somewhere else, live under fake names and never get caught. But in reality, they're just making their situation worse and ensuring that when they are caught, it's going to be even more dramatic. Meanwhile, police launch a nationwide manhunt looking for them. They put out BLOs, be on the lookout alerts, to law enforcement agencies across the country. They release photos and descriptions of both suspects and their vehicle. This is now a federal case with multiple agencies involved in tracking down these fugitives. And pretty quickly, they're spotted. Someone sees them shopping at a Walmart in Catoosa, Oklahoma, and recognizes them from the news coverage. The witness calls police, and by the time Nathaniel and Ermelinda leave the store, law enforcement officers are on their way to intercept them. But Nathaniel and Ermelinda see the police cars approaching, and they know their time is up. So they jump into their car and speed away, and suddenly we've got a high-speed chase happening on the highways of Oklahoma. The police chase is intense. We're talking multiple police cars, speeds over 100 miles per hour, spike strips being deployed, helicopters following overhead. This is the kind of chase that gets broadcast live on news channels because it's so dramatic and dangerous. Nathaniel is driving, desperately trying to get away, but he's not a professional driver, and he's probably panicking. The police are trained for this kind of situation. They have better equipment, and they have backup coming from multiple directions. It's only a matter of time before this chase ends badly. And that's exactly what happens. Nathaniel loses control of the vehicle and crashes into a concrete median barrier. The impact is severe enough that the car is disabled, and suddenly they're sitting ducks surrounded by police officers with their weapons drawn. "Get out of the car!" the officers are shouting. "Let me see your hands!" This is it. The end of the line. They're caught. They're going to be arrested, and they're going to spend the rest of their lives in prison for murdering an innocent family. 4 people are dead, including 2 children, because of their evil scheme. But Nathaniel isn't ready to face justice. He knows he's looking at the death penalty or life in prison without parole. He knows that even if he tries to blame everything on Ermelinda's manipulation, he's still the one who pulled the trigger. He's still the one who killed those kids. So he does the only thing he can think of. He turns to Ermelinda, the woman who manipulated him into committing these murders, the woman who sat in the car while he killed an innocent family, and he points his gun at her. And blam! He shoots her dead right there in the crashed car, surrounded by police officers. Then he turns the gun on himself and blam, he ends his own life too. Just like that, both perpetrators of this horrific crime are dead. There's no trial, no prison sentence, no opportunity for the victims' families to confront them in court and demand answers. They took the coward's way out, leaving behind nothing but questions and devastation. In the aftermath of this murder-suicide, police investigators have to piece together exactly what happened and why this family was targeted. And what they discover is one of the most twisted and diabolical murder plots anyone has ever seen. Through digital forensics, investigators are able to trace all of those fake social media profiles back to Ermelinda Palomo. They find the evidence that shows she was the one pretending to be cartel members, she was the one sending death threats to her own fiancé, she was the one who convinced him that Zoraida was a spy, plotting to kill him. She discovered the extent of her digital manipulation, the fake phone numbers, the fabricated personas, the elaborate backstories she created for these fictional cartel members. She spent months building this house of lies, crafting a psychological warfare campaign designed to drive her cheating fiancé to murder. The investigators also find evidence that Ermelinda had tried other approaches before resorting to murder. She had actually contacted Alberto Roland directly through social media, telling him that his wife was having an affair with her fiancé. She warned him about the affair and suggested that it was dangerous for his family, but when that didn't end the relationship, she escalated to her murder plot. And through witness statements and physical evidence, they confirmed that Ermelinda was present at the scene of the crime. She drove Nathaniel to the house, she waited in the car while he committed the murders, and she drove him away afterward. She wasn't just the mastermind behind this plot, she was an active participant in carrying it out. But perhaps the most tragic discovery is that Nathaniel apparently never figured out that he was being manipulated by his own fiancé. Based on all the evidence investigators found, it appears that he died believing that the cartel threat was real, that Zoraida was actually a spy, and that he had to kill her to save his own life. Think about how absolutely evil this makes Ermelinda's actions. She didn't just manipulate her fiancé into committing murder, she let him die thinking he was protecting himself from a threat that never existed. She never told him the truth, never admitted what she had done, never gave him the chance to understand how he had been used. While it's important to understand the twisted psychology behind this crime, it's even more important to remember the innocent victims whose lives were stolen by this evil plot. Alberto Roland was 38 years old, a hardworking man who was trying to provide for his family. He was married to his wife Zoraida and devoted to his 2 young sons. He worked in manufacturing and by all accounts was a good man who didn't deserve to die in his own home, killed by his wife's affair partner in a case of misunderstood and fabricated cartel threats that never existed. Zoraida Barthelemy was 32 years old, a mother who was trying to protect her children in the final moments of her life. Yes, she was having an affair, which was wrong, but that doesn't make her deserving of death. She made a mistake in her marriage, but she didn't deserve to be executed along with her innocent children for that mistake. And then there are the children, 9-year-old Adriel Roland and 7-year-old Diego Roland. These were innocent kids who loved their parents, who went to school and played with friends and had dreams about their futures. They were killed because a psychotic woman couldn't handle the fact that her fiancé was cheating on her, and because that woman was evil enough to manipulate him into believing their mother was a threat to his life. These children died in terror, hiding in a bedroom with their mother, probably not understanding why this was happening to them. They became victims of an adult world of infidelity and manipulation and revenge that they had absolutely nothing to do with. At the end of the day, what makes this case so tragic is how completely senseless and avoidable it all was. 4 innocent people died, including 2 children, because one woman couldn't handle her fiancé's infidelity in a mature adult way. If Ermelinda had simply broken up with Nathaniel when she discovered his affair, everyone would still be alive today. If she had confronted Zoraida directly about the affair, everyone would still be alive. If she had sought counseling or talked to friends or family or literally done anything other than create an elaborate fake cartel scheme, this massacre never would have happened. Instead, she chose the most evil and manipulative path possible.
She chose to turn her cheating fiancé into a weapon to point it at an innocent family and to destroy multiple lives in her quest for revenge. Alberto Roland would still be alive, still working to support his family, still coming home every day to his wife and sons. Zoraida Bartolome would still be alive, still raising her children and trying to work through whatever problems existed in her marriage. 9-year-old Adriel Roland would be 11 now, probably playing sports or getting interested in music or video games. 7-year-old Diego Roland would be 9, maybe learning to ride a bike or starting to get good at math. But instead, they're all dead. Their lives were cut short by a woman's jealous rage and a man's willingness to believe lies and commit violence. Their deaths serve no purpose, solve no problems, and make the world a darker and more dangerous place. This is why this case is so important to understand and remember. It shows us what human beings are capable of when they choose evil over good, when they choose manipulation over honesty, when they choose violence over peaceful solutions. It reminds us that the people closest to us might be capable of things we never imagined, and that we need to be vigilant about protecting ourselves and our loved ones from those who would do us harm. The Romeoville massacre stands as one of the most shocking examples of domestic manipulation and revenge in modern American criminal history. It's a case that will be studied by psychologists, criminologists, and law enforcement professionals for years to come, not just for its complexity, but for the pure evil it represents. And most importantly, it serves as a memorial to 4 innocent people whose lives mattered, who were loved, and who